Hey people, Mike Martins here with the Mike Martins channel, coming from beautiful, sunny Merritt, British Columbia, and it is a beautiful, gorgeous day here just outside the shop, reminiscing, taking in and reading your emails and messages and everything you're sending me. Thanks for the support, guys, in acknowledging and bringing up certain things. And something certain is really popping up, and I kind of want to share that with you guys. Anyone's welcome to come visit me at the store. I'm at 1925 Quilchana Avenue in downtown Merritt, BC. All right, guys, so what are we talking about here? Oh, you can visit us at mtg.toys, mtg.toys, and use promo code Mike in the Night. What are we talking about? What am I inundated with? What am I receiving a lot of? Well, something we've been talking about for the last 10 years. Here it is. Here it is, folks. PacWest Bancorp earnings report. 10 trillion could be wiped from the banking system. Crisis hits Canadian banks, and we called it the Great White Short for the Canadian banking system. And recently, we were letting you guys know that TD Bank is one of the biggest, shortest bank, the most shorted against, hedged against a bank in probably in North American history right now. Fed's Powell. Banking sector conditions have broadly improved. So that's from a day ago. Canadian banks will not feel anything from U.S. bank turmoil. That's a lie right there. So that's BNN, Bloomberg, reporting that. So what is happening? Well, regional bank crisis spreads as big banks as PacWest, almost like Westpac in Australia. That was money laundering. Remember that? U.S. Bancorp tumble stocks dumb amid widespread liquidation. So there it is right there. And the Financial Times reported today that the Western Alliance is considering a potential sale of its part of its business. Okay, so let's go into that right here. It goes into, you guys already know most of this stuff already. And 2 days ago, on May 2nd, the aftermath of FRC take under by JPM, which Jamie Dimon praised. Remember, Jamie Dimon was saying we need to start taking private property from people to go green. Remember that? Well, same guy. As a deal, proving that the system works as it should, and predicted by the banking crisis is now almost over. Yeah, forecasted which the Fed chair reiterated yesterday just before all hell broke loose. So the banking crisis is back, and they warned you everywhere has been warning you about this banking crisis. It's going to back in the repo markets in 2019, 2018, where banks weren't trusting each other with the overnight rates and holdings. And you had the bond market inverting. We had so many things, and I call this the Frankenstein monster banking effect that we've created. Now the monster's mad, and it's going after its creator. Who is it coming after? Well, let's take a look. There we go. Breitbart. Shares of PacWest crash as banking panic returns. So banking panic and no confidence in governments. Remember, guys, no confidence in governments. People have no confidence in their banking system. No confidence in the banking system leads to a runoff on the markets. So shares of PacWest Bancorp tumbled sharply after Bloomberg reported late in the day Wednesday that the Beverly Hills-based bank has been weighing strategic options. So what do they mean by strategic options? They're looking at asset sheets. They're looking at leverage. They're going to have to start deleveraging some of that debt by selling off some of the assets. Now, if the assets are toxic assets that they bought, like mortgage-backed securities or garbage that doesn't make any sense to the average person, won't even buy, it's going to be very problematic for a lot of these banks. And a lot of these banks, you got to take a look at a lot of the bonuses they're giving themselves as they start to fall, and pretty much take what they can while the ship is sinking, or take what they could with them as the ship sinks. So a lot of these banks, look at these banks that are starting to go south, you'll start to realize that they're just reaping what they can before and giving themselves extra bonuses and all that. A lot of it's tied to the whole wokeness thing. You go woke, you go broke, and it's happening through the banking sectors too. So TD. Now, we talked about TD being one of the most shorted bank in the pretty much North America. TD Bank and First Horizon call for a U.S. $13.4 billion merger deal. So there's a call off. And TD is in a lot of trouble. Toronto Dominion Bank and First Horizon Corp have agreed to terminate their merger agreement, the company said on Thursday. So there it is right there from this morning. And I'm opening most of the emails you guys sent me. First Horizon stock plunges after merger deal with TD Bank is mutually terminated. So there it is. The deal was valued at $13.4 billion when it was announced in February 2022, but the bank The banks cite regulatory uncertainties for its demise. So there it is, TD Bank. And now this is we've been very vocal about this for a very long time, and we've been trying to get people to wake up to the fact that these banks are not here to help you. A lot of people believe, and this is government made. This is a government made problem because it's governments regulate banking systems. Different provinces and different states have different regulations depending on your lending institution. But in Canada, it's a little bit different, and it's more government controlled in Canada than it is in some of the freehold banks in the United States. So let's take a look. So what have we been saying? World banking sector head off a cliff, worldwide contracting GDP, rig markets rate fixes 3 months ago. Canadian bank bail-ins, more runoffs ahead as people lose confidence in governments 4 years ago. Major Australian banking disaster ahead, asset sheet, bad debt, toxic assets, money laundering 5 years ago. Governments caused this. Major banking disaster ahead. Major bank defaults, banking disaster 4 years ago. Canadian banks in danger of falling. The Great Canadian White Short. Runoffs imminent. Now, the two different videos. Look, 1150 and 907. Australia's banking disaster ahead. Interest only will destroy people when they raise rates 4 years ago. This is when Australia, this bright idea to go interest only to get first-time home buyers to compete with money launderers. Yeah! And speculators. Yeah! It's right there. Let's see if here we go. Frankenstein monster. Artificially low rates have created a Frankenstein banking monster effect. And if Canada thinks it's going to be safe from American banks defaulting, good luck. Former Lehman Brothers employee discusses American banks defaulting like dominoes. That's Ricky Spanish there. 2.5, that's probably 3 years ago. And what else? Oh man, there's so much. Look, Canadian sells out 1.1 trillion in shadow banks. It's going to get ugly when they raise rates 6 years ago. So we've been really warning you people. Banks will default by 2024. Home worth less than what you bought it for? Well, that's too bad for you. 5 years ago. My opinion, backpedaling. I'm giving it to 2024 before banks start to crumble. For the majority of our small businesses, leading customers, this will mean that we will no longer have the... Okay. Anyways. Royal Commission. What's the Royal Commission? What is the Royal Commission, folks? Well, the Royal Commission was implemented by Australian governance to research or to investigate the corruption in the Australian banking system. And the amount of money... The Royal Commission scratched the surface of the banking system. Just scratched the surface of what was going on. They didn't go deep. They should have went deep, but they just scratched the surface. And what did they find? Millions of infractions against their people. Millions, charging people that have been dead for 5 years $60,000 in banking fees. They know they're dead. They're not contacting the next of kin. Here's your uncle's money that you may need to live, to eat. But we're going to just charge him bank fees till he goes in a negative position. And then we'll send the family to collections after there's no more money in the bank account, charging them several $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year in banking fees. So that's what the Royal Commission was starting to find. And then they have obviously had to close the investigation, like the money laundering investigation in Canada. They went into that, and they went into that head first, and they started to see we have multi-million infractions. Not multi-million dollars laundered, multi-million infractions. That's why all these homes are left empty across Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK and the blue states of America. Because people now are starting to see that these empty units all over the place is causing a shortage in the markets and creating an artificial increase in value, right? So supply and demand, they say, or build your way out of it, not going to work. Anyways, guys, wages and incomes need to be tied to real estate prices for people to get back in. Guys, thanks for all the emails all day long. It's really made my day knowing that I'm connected with you guys. It's really made my day knowing that you people care and want to hear my perspective on this for so many years now. I really appreciate your support, guys. And come down and visit me anytime. The door's open for you anytime. Mike Martin's here from Merritt, BC. I have spoken.